everybody doing? DIY Mystic Filmworks here. This is your host, Ultimo Gallos, the Hood Mark Lucha Libre Central American Heavyweight Champion of the world. Going on over a year now. March 1st, 2021 was a year. 365 days with that belt, and I still got it. And there's another, I'm glad to say, there's another Hood Mark Lucha Libre champion running around. There's a junior heavyweight champion now, Estrella Galactica. Has the belt. Kick ass. And I know there's a third Hood Mark belt floating around that, might end up being on somebody soon, but we're talking wrestling here, and we got Wrestling Ringside, issue 57. This is from, what is this from? This is from March of 92, so it probably came out in like January. Most magazines are about 2 months ahead on the cover. Phantom Unmasked, he's Rick Rude. Flair sells soul to the devil. Can Hulk survive the forces of hell? Plus, Matador, Reader's Poll, Mimi's Movie, Dr. Death, Roddy, and more. Cactus and Abdullah, Thirst for Blood Like Vampires, Killer Kowalski. This is the George Napolitano mags that I've heard about for years. I never bought these because these were always, well, there's the price. I'm trying to find the price on this thing. $2.95. These are always more expensive than the Abner mags. Abner mags back then were on the cheap newsprint, which I love. I prefer newsprint to the slick paper. The pictures do look better on the slick paper. So, and these are put out by the same company that puts out Starlog and put out Fangoria and all that. I think the whole company's done. But let's look at these pictures. Hawk. I love this. Curtis Hughes trying to disguise himself as Jason. Lady Boss, one of Steve Austin's ex-wives. There's Terry Taylor and Alexandria York, who became Marlena. Wrestling Hotline. IRS. Honky Tonk Man. I'm just a honky tonk man. Halloween Havoc. Luger retains the belt. Pillman wins light heavyweight title. So 91 Halloween. Okay, this is before the first WCW show I actually went to, because now I had been to a Jim Crockett Promotions. I'll throw this out there real quick. The group that ran on TBS for years and years, that people remember. 605, it was Georgia for a while. And then Georgia sold the time slot to Vince. TBS ended up buying it back. And so Georgia, it was Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, MACW, which people just called the NWA. The NWA was a pile of feds. That was just the one with the biggest TV penetration. I always refer to it as JCP, Jim Crockett Promotions. Well, I went to one or two of their shows when they come near my area. I grew up in the Mississippi Coast area. I was born in Biloxi, which people have heard of, but I grew up outside of a town called Moss Point, which until late 90s was unknown. Now it's kind of known because small community towns where a bunch of members of the band 3 doors down are from. And Moss Point's produced some football players, some other sports stars, a few little things like that. But I grew up outside of Moss Point, right on the Mississippi-Alabama state line. The house I lived in, if I walked out my front door and walked for about 4.5, 5 minutes, I was in Alabama. I was that close. I was that close to the line. So I didn't get to go to a WCW event, which we'll get back to this, until 92. June of 92, Beach Blast 92 came to Mobile, Alabama. My birthday's in July. My father's like, hey, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, oh, I happen to be over in Mobile. There's a great record store called Peaches Records. They sold Borden Records, but I was over there and they had a big flyer for the thing. It's like, oh, I'd like to go to the pay-per-view, if we can get decent. I don't want to sit up in the risers, I want to sit on the floor. Well, the next day we started calling, or matter of fact, I might have been after we started calling, and guess what? I got 2 fifth row, third or fifth row. I think it's fifth row, because I don't remember being super close to the ring. Right next to the big ramp they walked down to go to the ring. They were $15 a ticket, and this was like, we got these 2 weeks for the show. So I got to see, Luger was not on the show, but I got to see stuff like, Brian Pillman was there defending the belt. There's Brian Pillman, there's Lady Boss, there's Sting. I saw Sting there. Cactus Jack fought Sting in a great match. Matter of fact, if you watch that match closely and know where to look, when Cactus Jack and Sting are fighting out on the ramp, myself and my father, Ultimo Gallos and Papa Gallos, the old hunter, we both popped up on camera many times because I was right next to him, he was right next to me. I don't even know what shirt I was wearing today because I can look for the shirt and spot myself. And it's great because the VHS release, it's kind of smeary, it's hard to tell, but man, you go on Peacock, inside the United States or outside the United States, WWE Network, and watch Beach Blast 92, I'm there. If you know what I look like, you can spot me. I don't look that much different. I don't have the long goatee, but I have one then. Missy Hyatt. Dustin Rhodes, Mark Marrow, and Teddy Long. You see, there's the Gore store, the Fangoria stuff. The legend of Killer Kowalski, the man who ripped off Yukon Eric's hair. I remember hearing about this story for years as a kid, like older members of the band. Oh yeah, Killer Kowalski, he dropped the knee on Yukon Eric and his ear came off. Holy hell. Well, when I was about 8 or 9, it was one of those, you see it on YouTube and you can find DVDs of classic wrestling. It's all this public domain footage. It's mostly from Chicago, from the Dumont Network, I think. And that match was on there, and I got to see the ear come on. What it was is Yukon Eric had a heavily cauliflowered ear, and when Kowalski dropped the knee, he caught the ear on and just sheared that sumbitch right off. Kind of like Cactus Jack and, was it Germany and the ropes? And Kowalski's one of those guys, you never hear a bad word about the guy. He ate healthy, he lived forever, he's a big, huge guy. I've gotten to know, in the past, past year, got to know a lot of wrestlers based on Massachusetts and Maine. Limitless Wrestling, go watch it. Go on YouTube and watch it. If you enjoy it, pay that $10 IWTV and watch them. They have a show called The Road. Comes on every every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central. They have, pay-per-views. You don't have to pay for them because you're paying for IWTV. Big shows once a month, pretty much. Great fat. And a lot of these people knew Kowalski because they went through his school when he was not running anymore, but they got to meet and told great stories about Kowalski. Wrestling Legends trading card set. I want this. This is 60 cards. You got legends like Bruno Sammartino, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, Superstar Billy Graham, Killer Kowalski, Captain Lou Albano, Ivan Koloff, Dominic DeNucci, and Lou Thez. But okay, now $9. That's not bad for a 60 card set. But you can get a former world champion's autograph 65 cards. So you get 5 more cards. This is $30 now, so it's triple the money. You get personally autographed cards by Bruno, Buddy Rogers, Billy Graham, Lou Thez, and Ivan Koloff. Or a 68 card set for $40. Excuse me. And the autograph cards in this set are Bruno, of course. Damn. Buddy Rogers, Ivan Koloff, Lou Thez, Lou Albano, Dominic DeNucci, Killer Kowalski, and Billy Graham. And this is like a little poem that Killer Kowalski wrote dedicated to Johnny Valentine. I am a professional wrestler, a world champion wrestler. I am tough. I play rough. Money is my bread. I want to get ahead. I could tear your heart out. My life is one big clout. I could give you a clothesline which make you feel just fine. I'll do it all just for love. I love it. California Screaming. PCCW rocks the West Coast. It's about the Pacific Coast Championship Wrestling organization that I'd never heard of until I saw this article. I just read this magazine yesterday. And I'll be honest, this is my second time filming this video. Last time I was filming, I didn't realize about halfway through the camera cut off until I went to dump the footage onto my laptop, and I'm like, oh. It cuts off, and I'm like, fuck. I'll redo it again. And they got Happy Humphreys Jr., 605 pounds, Jim Superstar Gorman, Mr. Modest, the Motor City Madman. Hey, Bat, you watching this? Motor City Madman, that's like your area, ain't it, man? Are you like the Skinny Jean Madman? The Lee Van Cleef Stash Madman? Yeah, I know. Inside jokes that only 2 people will get, but hey. I know Dale will get them. Dale will be like, oh, that's pretty funny, man. Lee Van Cleef Stash. But it sounds interesting. I'm going to have to look for some footage of this stuff. Of course, Star Trek. Star-Lord made a lot of money. Mark Fleming, future superstar. That's the guy that was like a preliminary bum for the longest time. But according to this, he's becoming a kind of a name. Never heard of him, never seen any of his matches. Battle for the Tri-State Tag Titles. The Blackhearts versus the Dog Pound. This was Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, which was a Pennsylvania-based fed, ran by Joel Goodhart, and Todd Gordon helped out. I think he's a sponsor and like a sponsor. It folded because they were bringing in a lot of people that cost money, and they were drawing big crowds, but they didn't have any TV. It was kind of hard to. You had to make money off the gate. That was it. And they folded, and Todd Gordon said, "Well, fuck it, I want my own fan." He started up this little group called Eastern Championship Wrestling, which everybody out there knows. If you're a wrestling fan, you know that what happened to Easter. Well, it became Extreme Championship Wrestling, which was Todd Gordon and Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman took over, so it's just Paul Heyman, and then WWE bought it. But look at the photography in these is so good. Like, see that mask guy right there? There's Luna Vachon in the middle of the Blackhearts. Blackhearts was Gangrel, and I don't remember who the other one is. Look at all that, man. Back in the day, man, I read so much stuff from them. I read Comic Scene pretty much every time it came out, because Comic Scene was what, every 2 months. Gore Zone, which was 4 times a year, and Fangoria. Magnificent Mimi. The lady who I knew all about, had piles of pictures of her. I've seen one match. Her name is Mimi Lissos, and she's doing a movie. She was a stunt woman, a wrestler. Very attractive woman. I think that's why she got all the press in the mag, so they knew they could put a couple pictures of her in there, and your tears go, oh, man, Mimi looks pretty hot, man. I'm going to put her picture up on the wall. Because I know wrestling fans, we don't think about it when we're younger, but, wrestling guys, wrestling poster mom, we're like, teenage boy, because most wrestling fans are males. You got all these posters of oiled up, muscle bound guys on your wall, And it's like, So, they're like, hey, yeah, have Mimi up there too. Or, Misty Blue Sims or Missy Hyatt or Miss Elizabeth or Sherry Martell. And man, think about Mimi's still around, Misty Blue's still around, and Missy's still around, but Miss Elizabeth and Sherry are both gone. And Luna's gone. Flair sells soul to the devil. Nature Boy aligns with Undertaker and Hogan stands alone. This is after, Flair came to WWF and was trying to get that belt. On the town with Bushwhacker Luke visits the Great Press Box Cafe. I'd love to go there. Look at that. Steve Dr. Duff Williams versus Stevie Wild Thing Ray. UWF title match. Now, this is Stevie Ray. This is not Booker T's, bro. It's the white guy. This is from UWF. It's Herb Abrams, UWF. And what this is that there's a match that's infamous, and I've heard two sides of the story on this. Supposedly, Stevie Ray did something to piss off the promoter, Herb Abrams. So Herb Abrams paid Dr. Death extra to shoot on him. I'm assuming every wrestling fan out there knows what the word term shoot means. If you don't, that means, okay, when two wrestlers are in the ring and they're doing a match and they're working together, they don't want to hurt each other. That's called working. It means I'm gonna pull my punches, I'm gonna make it look like I'm beating the shit out of you. But, if you're a good wrestler, you can do it with them barely feeling it. Shooting means you're just beating the fuck out of each other. A shoot, it's legit, it's real. Like MMA is a shoot. NFL football, that's a work. Baseball, MLB baseball, that's a shoot. NHL hockey, that's a shoot. NBA basketball, that's a shoot. College football, that's a work. But this match, and I think that's what this match is from. And all their movie mags, I had the poster mag for Aliens. Owen Hart versus Takayuki Iizuka, I guess his name. He's an IWGP junior heavyweight champion, and he came over. This is for the tri-state. Joe goes to the tri-state. So Owen Hart in what year is this? Probably '91 when this match happened. And you got somebody from Japan coming over. And then there's always, especially in the non-actor and non-WWE WWF mag, these sleazy ads for wrestling women videos, and they always kind of hinted that these videos got a little sleazier than they could talk about. I actually remember when I was in 7th grade. My English class, 8th grade. I remember the teachers now, 8th grade. That day, we had lunch, the way the schedule worked out, my lunch, I went to lunch before I had my next class. Because our school is very small. You had three sets of lunches. One of them you went to lunch, and then you went and had your 4th class of the day. One of them you went and had 30 minutes of your 4th class, and then you went to lunch, and you came back and had 30 minutes of your 4th class. Other one you had your 4th period class, and then you had lunch. And it rotated, every 9 weeks it switched. Well, this is 9 weeks where my English class, I went to lunch first and came back. Well, between classes, I was busy talking to a buddy. By the time I got to the English classroom door, the teacher had already locked the door. I'm like, well, fuck. I had my books in my hand. I don't care about the lunch. I had a wrestling magazine. So I set my books and wrestling magazine in front of the door. Nobody's going to fuck with it. I come back and the door's open. She's like, we got to talk. Okay. And she pulls me aside. She's like, look, I have no issues with it, but you might want to get caught at school with porn like this. And it was an ad like this. Some of the kids, buddies of mine, Ashley Mims was one of them. What's up, Ashley? That's a guy, not a female. Only guy, I knew Ashley's a male or female. It's the only guy I've known in person named Ashley. He was looking at it and thought, look at the titties on her. And the teacher walked up and flipped out on it. Fans speak out. And these are just letters from fans. Kenny Devine, Hulk Hogan, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, Flair, Paulie Dangerously, Undertaker, and Paul Bearer, R.I.P. Paul. Old magazines for sale. Lots of old magazines for sale. Halloween Phantom Unmasked. He's Rick Reed and he's got a plan. Now this is the thing. Starlog, a lot of their ads from the Starlog Press stuff was stuff sold by them directly. So you get VHS now. Y'all that have grown up in the digital age, where you stream everything or you buy DVDs and Blu-rays, stuff's not that expensive. A brand new, big budget movie when it hits Blu-ray might be $25 bucks for the Blu-ray, but you have all kinds of extras. The DVD's gonna be about 20, 15. Back in the day, VHS was not cheap. Most VHS, when it first would come out, was called price to rental, which meant it was anywhere from $60 to $100. So the average person would not buy, because who the hell, unless you're super rich and don't give a fuck about money, who's going to pay $100 for a movie? But a video store pays $60, because they can charge $3 to rent it. It rents 20 times, and they're starting to make money. And big stuff, a perfect example. Give you a perfect example. When the movie Terminator 2 came out, my mother, for some reason, thought I loved the movie. I don't know. I think it's because I saw it twice in the theater. And that's just because I went and saw it with them, and then the next weekend I was hanging out with a good buddy of mine. What's up, Russell Rat Race Dearman? I don't know if you watch my stuff or not, but what's up, Russell? Glad you're doing good, buddy. I went with him and his mom and his little brother to see it again. And I don't really care for the movie, but she wanted to buy it that year for me when it came on VHS for Christmas. It's a Christmas present. And I remember telling me Christmas morning, I would have gone get it for you, but it was $100. I'm like, Mom, I'm glad you didn't spend that. So that'll explain the price. Okay, first one, Mad Men, Maniacs and Lunatics. Matches on the CWA Dares to Allow. CWA was the Continental Wrestling Association Alliance. This CWA was Memphis. I don't remember ever, until it was the USWA, ever Memphis being called anything but Memphis. Because I remember getting confused, because some mags called it CWA, some called it like Mid-Southern. I was like, man, that's fucking Memphis. Because that's where it's based. It's kind of like how, even though it's not based out of there, it's based out of Connecticut now. WWF back in the day was referred to as going to New York. Just like if you're going to work for the Crockett's, you're going to Atlanta. You're going to work for the Von Erichs, oh man, you're going out to Dallas. Stuff like that. Wrestling term. All right, so we got here. It's eye gouging, table smashing, board split. It's an eye gouging, table smashing, board splitting life. A death struggle for survival in and out of the ring. We got Jeff Jarrett versus the Sheepherders in a deadly snake box match. So Jeff Jarrett's taking on a handicap match with a snake box. Okay. Jerry Lawler versus Eddie Gilbert. Studio parking lot brawls. This is the one where, isn't there one where Eddie runs him over with a car? I think that's this. The Fabulous Ones versus the Moondogs. In a no DQ, anything goes. Okay, the Fabulous Ones, that is Stan Lane, who's kind of in the news right now because there's, a senator or something that might be his daughter? Or Congress? Somebody in the government, higher up in our U.S. government. And the other one was Steve Keirn, who was best known for being the guy that when they brought back Florida Championship Wrestling as a WWE Developmental League. He was one of the guys down there training. You younger fans, younger, you're not going to be super younger, but you know him for his WWF run as Skinner, the Alligator Man. And Stan Lane was in the Midnight Express and the Heavenly Bodies. And he's also known for doing ESPN boat race announcing. The Moondogs, there's so many Moondogs. I don't know who those were. There's so many. Then we got Lawler and Bigelow. I'm assuming that's Bam Bam Bigelow, taking on Tommy Rich and Austin Allen in a ring post feud. Plus action featuring the Great Kabuki, Pat Tanaka, Joe LeDuc, Kamala, and Angel. $24.95 plus postage. And postage was, they're VHS only, $5 for postage. Wow, $5 for postage for that one, but every other one's $3. So that was $35. No, that's $3, sorry. That's $25, that's $28. Okay, Jerry the King Lawler, world champion, his most talked about match. And I have met Mr. Lawler. They told me to call him Jerry. I will do that. I met him twice now. Both times in Mississippi Casino shows. Super nice guy. He actually, we're at the show. I'll tell this story. It's after the show. He'd had his match. He was in the main event teaming up with, I want to say it was Superstar. Yeah, it was like Superstar Bill Dundee. And after the show, a buddy of mine, John Paul LeBlanc, search for Four Corner Photography. One of the best photographers in the Deep South. Been taking pictures at Ringside for years and years. He does promo pics. And promo pics are 8x10s. You go to a wrestling show and the wrestler's got to outpicture himself. So he's usually in front of a wall or a backdrop. JP takes the pictures for the wrestler and hands him the file. Here's the file. Go print these out. You make you some money. He does it for free. He has a portable backdrop. He does it really good stuff. JP knows his shit. He's got good equipment. He's even giving me some advice on how to film better. Well, Jerry Lawler comes out and gets his promo picked by JP, and he's asking, he's like, hey, JP, back in the day, when Memphis Wrestling aired down in Jackson, it aired on Channel 40, which is Fox 40 now, but there was always a match or a promo that was only aired on the Jackson airings. It's like, okay, he goes, do you have any of that? I'm looking for copies. And JP was always like, no, JP's collection, he's got a collection, but it's mostly books and memorabilia. His footage collection is not that big. He's like, you see that tall, hairy, goofy-looking guy over there? And he points to me. I'm like, oh, thanks, JP. He goes, that is, He's kind of our local, hard-to-find footage guy. Go talk to him, he might know it. And I think JP also did because he knew I really wanted to meet Jerry Lawler. And it was myself and R.I.P., one of my best friends, Big Country Tommy Moore. And Tommy, I can't believe we're getting close to a year since you passed. We're standing there, and Jerry Lawler comes walking over me, and Tommy and we look at each other like, holy hell. Because Tommy's just a little bit older than me. He's in his early 50s, and he's like me. He grew up close to Jackson, so he watched Memphis all the time. And Lawler to us is like, like Hogan was to kids, young kids in the 80s, or, like Sting was to a whole generation of fans that grew up on Nitro. Lawler was our man. He introduced himself. I'm like, how you doing, Mr. Lawler? My name is Buddy. He's like, it's Jerry. I'm like, oh, okay. He asked me the question about the footing. I'm like, no, I don't have it, but I knew some people asked. And he gave me a way to contact him. And then he saw I had a hat on and a book bag with me. And had the Punisher. He said, oh, you like comics? And we started talking comic books. And I could tell he kind of enjoyed talking something that wasn't wrestling. And that's kind of been my thing when I meet anybody's involved in wrestling. If I know they're into something else, I'll ask them a wrestling question. I ask them the other stuff because they get asked wrestling stuff all the time. This is Jerry Lawler tape. Jerry the King Lawler versus Kurt Hennig from the Mid-South Coliseum. This one, Kurt Hennig was the AWA champ. It's all here. Interviews, referee voted, mayor's proclamation, the King's grand entrance, special referee, the legendary Jackie Fargo, main event in its entirety, press conference, plus many surprises, hosted by Lance Russell. Free whatever you order, a full-color poster of the King, plus a copy of the Warrior Report program, the very one sold at the Coliseum the night. Program and poster offer while supplies last $29.95. Plus $5 shipping. I don't know what because it includes the poster in it. Okay, that's lots more. So $35, man. And now you can go find that because Memphis footage throws out there. If you like Memphis, nobody really seems to know who owns Memphis. That shit's all over YouTube. All over the place. It's easy to find. And then the last one. This is only 30 minutes, so that's a cheap tape. Matt Maniacs, 30 minutes of awesome brutality. Wild action, a 3-man tag team brawl pitting Jerry Lawler, Austin Hall, and Jimmy Valiant versus the Masked Assassins with a surprise third partner, a match too bizarre for the ring to hold. See Tojo, and some of this Tojo Yamamoto. A tap by live bears, a stunned crowd looks on. You won't believe Max Payne and Gorgeous Gary Young as they break all the rules in tag team action against Jeff Jarrett and Billy Travis. R.I.P. Billy Travis. Is Gary Young dead? I don't know. Witness the famous Memphis chain match between Jerry Lawler and Austin Idol with a surprise ending, plus an added bonus, uncensored dressing room interviews with Lawler and Idol. Only $14.95. Now, as a kid, if I had this, I would have been ordering. I was like, oh man, it's only $14.95. I got to pay $3 shipping. Okay, that's $18. I can do that real easy. So I was one of those kids. I had money to order stuff from mail, but I hated mail order. Because, allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. 1 month to a month and a half for that fucker gets to you. And that does not include the time it takes you to, you got to mail it to them and shit. We're spoiled nowadays. You got Amazon Prime free shipping that gets to you in 2 to 3 days. I just ordered Sunday stainless steel garden hose, 50-footer, needed it for the property. Bought it off of Amazon and it'll be here tomorrow. And I'm filming it. That was Sunday. I'm filming this on a Monday. Shit, it's amazing. And you don't have to pay for the ship. All right, more pictures. Sure, start that. Tito Santana returns to the roots and becomes the Matador. I hated this gimmick. I was a Tito Santana fan. I thought Tito Santana, Rick Martel, Strike Force was a great team. I thought Tito was a great IC champion. I just enjoyed the hell out of watching him wrestle. And then this happens. He comes back as the Matador. More female wrestling. And we got our official rating. And I like how these mags included feds you never heard about in places like IWCCW, which was the Savoldi's ICW. Kind of merged with World Class. So you got guys there like, Tony Atlas is their champion. Their light heavyweight champion is Tasmaniac, who, I love this, 235 pounds from Red Rum Inc. Man, you from Red Hook, Brooklyn. Goddamn Taz. That's Taz. World Class champion, of course, Kevin Von Erich. You got like Tito Santana, Mondo Clean, who I think became Damien Demento. Coco Beware, Scott Putski. Big Steamboat, who is always rumored to be the brother of Ricky Steamboat. Ivan Putski, T.D. Madison, who I think is Tommy Dreamer. It says 235 pounds. That's light for Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer kind of a big guy. Jump in, Joel Savoldi, Parsippany, New York. Curly Moe and Surfer Ray Odyssey, non-affiliated, which is Kevin Sullivan, Iron Sheik, Abdul the Butcher, Nikolai Volkov, Honky Tonk Man, Rick Rude, Paul Orndorff, Alpha the Wall Simone, Norman, and Sexy Sunny Beach. Then they're doing managers, and look, you got Paul Bearer in around Jimmy Hart. I met Jimmy Hart, really nice guy. Bobby DeBrand Heenan, RP, Sir. Lady Blossom, retired. Miss Elizabeth, she's passed away. Sensational Sherry, she's passed away. Boston Bad Boy, I'm assuming that's Tony Rumble. I didn't know he managed, though, but the only Boston Bad Boy I know is Tony Rumble. He's passed away. Theodore Arlong, Miss Alexandra York, and Mr. Fuji. Is Fuji passed away? I'm not sure. Most popular, and this is what's odd, man. According to the most popular was Sid Justice, Sid Vicious. Number 2, El Gigante. Okay, Hulk Hogan, Sting, Bret Hart, Rick Steiner, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Texas Tornado, Macho Man, and Wild Thing Stevie Ray. USWA, this was, what they basically did was, World Class kind of sold itself to Memphis. So they merged, became United States Wrestling Association, I think. And they had the Memphis end and the Texas end. The Texas end aired like Monday through Friday. I want to say it was 4 p.m. Central Time. It was on ESPN. And I would watch USWA. Matter of fact, I remember I got to talk to quite a while there, Jamie Dundee, Bill Dundee's son, JC Ice, PG-13. Found him on Facebook one night. I sent him a friend request. Hey, man. And I told him, I was like, dude, I want to thank you because when I was in Army boot camp, we got 2 hours of TV every day. Except on the weekend. On the weekends, like Sunday, our drill instructor, if we've been done good that week, he would go to the video store and rent us a couple movies and we'd watch movies. Because he didn't do much on Sundays. But Monday through Friday, we got 2 1 hour every day, we watch USWA Wrestling on ESPN. And then at night, like, whenever it aired at night, we would watch Beavis and Butthead. But, back then they had, Jerry Lawler's our champ. Texas champion was Eric Embry. Then we had Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Danny Davis. This is not the Danny Davis. This is Nightmare Danny Davis. Not the Danny Davis that was a ref in WWF and became a bad guy. Honky Tonk Man. He's just a honky tonk man. Bill Dundee, Jeff Jarrett, Doug Gilbert, Gary Young, Dr. Tom Pritchard, Dirty White Boy, and Jeff Gaylord. Then we have the UWA, which I never really heard of. It's a northeastern-based according to this. Their champion is Vacant. Man, Vacant's got a lot of belts. Junior champion is the Cheetah Kid. I'm not sure which Cheetah Kid is. There's so many of those. Then you got the Honky Tonk Man, Rick Rude, Johnny Rotten, who I don't know who that is. I don't know. There's people using the name for Nikolai Volkov, Superstar Mike Lane, who I see that name a lot in some of these names. I don't know who that is. Warrior Crash. No idea. Mad Mitch Ryder, who just recently passed away. Mitch Ryder is one of those guys. He never became a huge name, but for a while there, he was having a great run in like IWA Mid-South. Cody Bear, Captain Jack, and Eric Fox. More sleaze. And they list tag teams. Come on, I don't give a shit. Most hated, The Undertaker, Ric Flair, Jake the Snake Roberts, Lex Luger, Earthquake, Ted DiBiase, Abdullah the Butcher, Arn Anderson, Kevin Sullivan, and One Man Gang. Then at WCW, the World Champions Lex Luger, U.S. Champion Sting, U.S. Tag Champs are the Patriots, which is Chip the Firebreaker and Private Todd Champion. Then our rankings. Sting is the number 1 contender. Ron Simmons number 2. Barry Windham number 3. Stunning Steve Austin number 4. 5 is El Gigante. 6 is Dustin Rhodes. 7 is PN News. 8 is Z-Man Tom Zink. 9 is Johnny Bad. 10 is Cactus Jack. Then we got the women's wrestling. This is all areas. And this is the one where I'm like, who are half these people? Lady X. No clue. Susan Sexton. I knew that name. I think she became something else. Medusa Massini. Okay, that is Medusa, Alundra Blaze. Best known for showing up on Nitro and dropping the WWF Women's title in the trash can. Magnificent Mimi. Right up there. I've only seen her wrestle with the Beast. I have no idea who the Beast is. Misty Blue, also known as Misty Blue Sims. She's one of those that I saw in the magazines all the time. I never really seen her wrestle. And the neat thing is, years later, when I got in a tape trade, it came out, and I don't know how this news got out there, that Misty Blue and Linda Dallas had done some pornography. And somebody got a hold of a copy and was charged at $30 to make you a copy of it. And it sold well. Reggie Bennett, another name, heard of here. Heidi Lee Morgan, Sydney Paradise, and Bambi. Bambi, been around forever. Matter of fact, she was not on TV not too long ago. Her name's like Selena Majors, I think. And she was on that WOW Women of Wrestling show on Access. Great show, too. I enjoyed the hell out of that. It was fun. I like good women's wrestling. That was good entertainment women's wrestling besides, Katie Forbes. The woman so bad she killed women's wrestling pretty much in Louisiana. All right, we're going to get to the WWF now. We got the world champion Hulk Hogan. Intercontinental, move my drink. Don't want to spill it. Intercontinental champion Bret Hart. Then Ric Flair, Undertaker, Sid Justice, Roddy Piper, Ted DiBiase, Earthquake, Jake Roberts, The Dragon, Ricky Steamboat, The Warlord, and Macho Man. We got the UWF National. This is not the Bill Watts UWF. This is the Herb Abrams one. And this one we got Steve Dr. Duff Williams as champion. Then Stevie, Wild Thing Ray, Bam Bam Bigelow, Paul Orndorff, B. Brian Blair, Dan Spivey, Colonel De Beers, Don Morocco, Bob Orton, Superstar Mike Lane, and S.T. Jones. WWF Grudge Match. Roddy Piper versus Ric Flair ripping up Madison Square Garden. These pictures, man. And these were not taken at, Ringside. These were taken from the crowd because by this time WWF had their own magazine. They banned all photographers from Ringside. They just had their own there. So, and look how good quality these are. I mean, they're on newsprint and they look great. Their votes for best to worst to 91. We got best wrestler, worst wrestler, best manager, worst manager, best tag team, worst tag team, best promotion, worst promotion, favorite wrestling TV show, least favorite show, favorite announcer, least favorite announcer, best match, and favorite female wrestler. Then, talking about Cactus versus Abdul, Cactus Jack and Abdul the Butcher. What will quench their thirst for blood? And they were in what? WCW at the time, I think. I like this. Stardom didn't happen overnight for Cactus Jack. He spent his first few years touring the various independent promotions, facing young talent like Larry Winters, Kalula Kid, and Lou Fabiano. He even spent some months in the WWF as Jack Foley. This reporter knew Cactus Jack when he was still in training and did catch him in action during an independent card in Brooklyn. Cactus Jack impressed his reporter in conversation. He was eager to move on. Upon advice to call Jerry of the CWA, now USWA, Cactus Jack went down south. He became an instant hit, winning the tag team belts. Larry went to World Class, and with Gorgeous Gary Young, managed by General Skandar Akbar, won the World Class Tag Team Championship. When World Class became USWA again, with Young, Cactus won those belts. And then a nice picture of Cactus, beating on Eddie Gilbert there. And that's what got the TWA their biggest attention. Was that Eddie Gilbert Cactus feud, because there was like 3 or 4 matches, and they were talked about in the mags constantly. There's another one. And we got our ad, get Star Trek Next Generation magazine. I actually had like the first couple of issues, and I'll admit, I really do enjoy the original Star Trek show. Next Generation, I watched the first 3 seasons and gave up. DS9, I watched like the first couple, didn't care for it. Voyager, seen 2 or 3 episodes. Enterprise, same thing. And these new ones I haven't watched. I'm a Star Trek fan, but I'm a fan of the original series and the movies. I just can't get into the newer ones. I don't know why. But that's going to be it. We got an ad here for a wrestling 1-900 number. We talk to women wrestlers. So that is Wrestling Ringside issue 57. I hope y'all enjoy it. That's one of the longer videos. If you did, give me that thumbs up. And for comments, tell me what wrestling magazines you read as a kid. If you're old enough to remember when wrestling magazines were still a big deal. Like, I don't think WWF has a mag at all. I know Pro Wrestling Illustrated still exists, but I never see issues. Like, every once in a while, every few years, I'll find a copy of the 500 and be like, oh, it's the PWI 500. I'm out, everybody. Talk to y'all later.